Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first webinar of 2025 with Stormatics. I'm your host, Ani, and today I have with me Semab Tariq as the speaker of this session. Today's session is going to be all about high availability and how to maintain a 99.999% uptime with your Postgres. So before we dive right into it, let me share a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording of the session will be shared afterwards. Feel free to use the webinar Q&A feature or the chat box for your queries, and these queries will be answered at the end of this session. And that's all from my end. Over to you, Sama.
All right. Thank you, Annie. Welcome everyone. So today we are again going to talk about high availability in Postgres. Of course, one of my focus areas since I started working with Postgres ecosystem. Um, Achieving higher number of nines is not that hard, but only required careful planning and understanding of the system and in this webinar I will try to guide you through different approaches that can be used in order to achieve high number of nines for your mission critical applications. um, so uh, Before we start, this is a brief introduction for me. The name is Semab Tariq and I work as a Postgres consultant at Stormatics. I have been working in Postgres ecosystem for more than 7+ years now. I started with my first interaction with Postgres was back in 2018. This is when I joined second quadrant. And then in 2020, second quadrant was acquired by Enterprise DB. I moved there. And I recently joined. In 2024, I joined Stormatics as Postgres consultant at Stormatics. We are keen to provide professional services for Postgres that include high availability, performance tuning, monitoring, performing backups, recovery, and of course, uh, uh, and of course, achieving different solutions for high availability that include single node cluster, two node cluster, three node cluster, or multi-master clusters as well. Uh, so this is a kind of an agenda for today's webinar where I will try to cover a few important concepts for achieving high availability. So up first, we are going to understand what is high availability and what are the important fundamentals for achieving high availability. Then we will try to deep dive into what does that mean to have 5 nines of high availability and how it can enhance performance for your mission critical applications. And then I will touch upon different solutions that we have in Postgres ecosystem in order to achieve higher availability for your applications. And then I will talk about different tools that we can use in order to actually implement the high availability. And then finally, we'll conclude the presentation by mentioning a couple of case studies for the users that Stormatics has to whom Stormatics have provided professional services for these users, and we have successfully implemented high availability for their specific cases. So finally, we will have, of course, question and answer session. Let's get started, and let's first begin with an introduction for high availability. Now, high availability or HA, we call it, refers to a system's ability to remain operational and accessible for most of the times. It also ensures that users and application can rely on it. In context of specifically databases or Postgres, this is crucial because any downtime can disrupt operations, impact customers, and cause financial loss for businesses as well. Also, the importance of high availability cannot be, of course, overstated. First, it minimizes downtime. This means that database stay available even during the unexpected issues or maintenance. For example, if we have to perform upgrades on our database, then highly available system should be available on that on this particular scenario when we are performing upgrades on that system. Second, high availability ensures business continuity. Now, companies can operate smoothly without interruptions or to importance, of course, services. And lastly, it helps organization to meet their service level agreements or SLAs, which are commitment to them to maintain a certain level of uptime. Let's now talk about some key matrices that use to measure high availability. I will briefly touch upon that. We will cover this in later session. The first one is uptime, which is refers to the percentage of time percentage of a time a system is operational. A higher uptime percentage indicates better availability for the system, whereas downtime is opposite for that. It measures how long a system is unavailable to its users. And of course, reducing downtime is of course primarily goal to achieve high availability. And lastly, there is a concept of five nines, which means that 99.999% of high availability. This translates to about 5 minutes of downtime in a year. So if you say we need five nines of availability, then you have to understand that your application can actually be down for about 5 minutes of entire year. This ratio, like 5 minutes or hour or maybe days, can be vary upon whatever the it actually depends on whatever the scenario you are picking to achieve high availability. So we will of course cover all of these metrics in detail in later slides. Now, to summarize, high availability not just a technical goal, but it's purely a business priority. It ensures that system remains reliable, and businesses meet their commitments, and customer satisfaction stay, of course, higher. Um, Now, let's deep dive into the key components